Hey readers, we're going to start wrapping up our information writing unit over the next couple of days. This will be a 2-day series. Today we'll be talking about introductions, and tomorrow we're going to be talking about conclusions in our writing. So we want to ask ourselves the questions: how can we be sure that readers will want to read our article and remember it when they've finished? Oftentimes we read the first paragraph of a book or a story or an article and we don't really want to read on. So we're going to try to avoid that today. So today I want to teach you that writers use introductions to grab attention. Then you can do that by stating a startling fact at the beginning of your introduction. You can pose a question to your audience and then work to answer it. And you can also give a preview of the upcoming information that you have. So an introduction will pull a reader in. You can give a little bit of information about the topic, and you do what's called orienting your reader, just like we've oriented ourselves with books and oriented ourselves with text. You become familiar with it, and we'll talk about conclusions a little bit tomorrow there. So when you're crafting an introduction, you really want to ask yourself the following questions. What do I want to teach readers in the beginning? How can I draw my reader in? And how can I give the reader an overview and a focus of what I'm going to write? So I'm going to show you an example over here with pies, and then I'm going to work on my own writing. So this pies introduction, here's how it started. Here's the original. Almost everyone likes pies. We have pies for major celebrations like Thanksgiving and the 4th of July. I wonder if the first pies were made for celebrations. So that's not bad. It's giving us a preview of information. There are some facts in there, and they did pose a question as well. But when I read that introduction, I think, maybe I'll read on, but maybe I'll read one more paragraph and then put the article down. Let's take a look at this new introduction. Did you know people have been eating pies for over 700 years? I can't imagine Thanksgiving without sweet potato, apple, or pumpkin pie. Luckily for me, the Romans started making pies in the 7th century, and the practice has continued and changed over the last 700 years. Wow, that one seems a little more interesting. I didn't know that pies have been around for 700 years. Of course, we've all eaten a pie, but I've never thought about where they came from. 700 years, starting with the Romans. I would like to read on and find more about that. Let's take a look at my introduction here. So this was my first attempt at an introduction, and I'm going to work to make mine interesting, just like that pie one. So my original says, playing the piano is no easy task. It is something that requires practicing, determination, and even some studying on piano history. There are important components and categories involved in learning to play the piano. Some of these are the parts of playing the piano, different types of piano music, famous composers, and times to play piano. So I've been doing a lot of research. So I was thinking I might start my new introduction with a fact. So let me first rewrite my heading in introduction. And I think I'm going to use a did you know. So did you know the first true piano was invented in the year 1700. So that was a long time ago. Moving away from the original harpsichord, the piano changed the music world. And then I think I'm going to go on, because the rest of this introduction previews my topic, gives the categories that I'm going to talk about. So now I can jump in with playing the piano is no easy task. So notice I didn't really change much, but I changed the start of it to try to grab your attention. If I'm not completely satisfied with it, luckily this is still a draft. So I could go on to revise it later on if I wanted. But in order to start my introduction, I decided to start with a startling fact. Maybe it was a little startling to me, but maybe I can pick another one if it wasn't startling to you. You could also start with a question or a preview of your information. So what I want to know is, how will you start your introduction? So leave me a comment here on this YouTube video. Tell me what idea you might use to start your introduction. Will you use a startling fact, a question, or a preview of your information? Once you've left your comment, go ahead and write your introduction. I look forward to reading them.